Hi there. Today I'm going to start a new series on a topic which many of you find difficult in English, and that is fluency. Now, what do I mean by fluency? Well, fluency is being able to continue speaking at a reasonable speed, to not pause excessively or say, and to make the other person understand without a lot of effort. And that is the key point, making yourself understood easily. So fluency is something that is a problem for people, whatever your level of English. If you are, for example, A2 plus, B1, fluency can be difficult for many topics because you just don't have the language. If you're a higher level, let's say even C1, fluency can be difficult if you're at the coffee machine and people start talking about renovating their house because you don't have the vocabulary to talk about this particular topic. And that's when fluency becomes more difficult. So today I'm just going to outline 6 areas that affect fluency. And then in each video after this, I will talk about some tips for each point that I mentioned today. So let's start. Point number 1, pronunciation. Now, pronunciation is a challenge for fluency because you can't always pronounce certain sounds. Maybe the word stress is not clear, or you're not using sentence stress, which means that it's more difficult to say all of those words in the sentence. And you have to stop and correct your pronunciation. I find this in French sometimes. I'm trying to say something and I have to repeat the word and I just cannot say it sometimes. This really affects your fluency. The second one, of course, is vocabulary. Now, the more vocabulary you have, the more fluent you can be. But the more vocabulary you can actually find in your head, in fact. It's not about whether you know the word, it's whether you can find the word at the moment. And I'm sure you'll all agree this is a big problem for fluency. Number 3 is grammar. Much as I hate talking about grammar, it can slow you down when you're trying to be fluent because you're searching for the right conjugation, the right tense. How do you make this long sentence? Number 4 is the fear of making mistakes. You want to choose perfection or fluency. You can't always have both, especially when you're not a very high level speaker. I recommend choosing fluency, by the way, not perfection. Number 5 is the interference of your native language, because you will have different words, different word order. Sometimes you are translating literally from your language into English, and it doesn't always work. And lastly, lack of exposure and lack of practice. Of course, the more you practice speaking, the easier it is, like everything in life. So in this series, we're going to look at each of these 6 points, and I'm going to give you some little tips, things that you can do to help you to be more fluent. So join me next time.